What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Kai Jukebox. And I am not doing so great. As I approach Monster Hunter Wilds, a game that I am extremely excited for, it's dawning on me that I don't have anybody to play with. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a history of my experience with the multiplayer function of Monster Hunter because the multiplayer is the draw of the game. And my initial appeal with the game was actually playing the demo for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate with one of my good best friends from my childhood, my boy Ryan. He was my neighbor. We were both 12 years old when that demo came out, and it would just seem like another fun multiplayer game together, which is what we were looking for, that being more games to play together. Now, eventually, that would spawn into me going back and playing 3 Ultimate because it was the cheaper of the options, looking with 4 Ultimate releasing thereafter. But the multiplayer function was at Monster Hunter's core. And I know that to be true from the very beginning of the franchise. And from there, me and him both played through 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, Generations, World, and I would go back and have my journey solo with some of the older games like the original DOS, Freedom Unite, Portable Third. But for the large majority of the time, me and Ryan did that multiplayer together. Now, with the release of Rise, he didn't have a Switch, and while we're still friends today, we weren't regularly seeing each other, and so our playing Monster Hunter being a large factor of our life kind of fizzled out. And so throughout that time, I also had my friend Connor, who I eventually got to finally start playing the game around the release of Generations. And we used to have a Skype chat together. I know I mentioned this in the previous episode, but we had a Skype Monster Hunter group chat that had Ryan, Connor, and some other friends, some online friends. I made lots of friends through Monster Hunter 4, actually, and even 3, which 3 had built-in multiplayer voice chat, which was super cool. I think World also has built-in voice chat, but I've never used it because I have no reason to, because Discord exists. But those were my friends for the large majority of my experience with the multiplayer. And I knew that when World was releasing that I could count on them to be there. They all played on Xbox. All my friends who played on 3DS played on Xbox. And so I joined Xbox to continue my journey with them. And we played through, but we never really played through Iceborne together. It fizzled out. I actually never played through Iceborne, and I still have not completed it. Call me a fake fan. I have not finished Iceborne. I'm pretty far through it, but I wanted to play it multiplayer with my friend Connor, and him and I, over the last year or so, have made significant progress through it. And I understand it's pretty bewildering that I have not played such a massive expansion in this franchise, but I I never had the opportunity to play through it with anybody, and I wanted to play multiplayer. And every once in a while, I'll reach out to him, and we'll try to set up some games for Iceborne. But I know he's a busy guy, and it goes like that. I'm a busy guy too. Since World and Rise's release, I've gotten married, and so my multiplayer crew has kind of dwindled. Now with the release of Rise, I was playing on Discord regularly and befriended my boy Marcus, who I shouted out in the last video, which I'm assuming he's seeing this now, and he can hit me up in the comments and say what's up. I befriended him and my guy Micah, and we were the first. That was sort of my new group to play with Rise, was on the Switch. And so from the first day it released, I was there playing. And my friend Connor, we played World with, he was there too. But eventually he kind of fell off the game. And I played all the way through Rise and Sunbreak, uh, both solo and with my boys, my Rise crew. But they've made it clear that they're not really going to be moving on to World because they don't have the consoles to play this next generation of games. Now, since my Monster Hunter inception, my origins with the franchise, I've become a PC gamer, and now the franchise is going to be cross-platform, and that's a really big factor for me because I knew that I was going to be playing on PC, and I was worried that I wasn't going to have anyone to play through with because I don't really have a lot of PC friends that play this franchise, but now the crossplay exists, so it opens up the floodgates as far as playing with people. But a lot of my friends just aren't really in it anymore, and I'm married and I've got a busy life, and my wife's played Rise a fair bit, and we've enjoyed some multiplayer with that. And so I'm hoping that she can play it on the Xbox on this TV back here, and I can play it on my PC setup right here. So I at least know that her and I will be able to play together, but I don't have a crew getting hyped up for this game like in the past. When Generations got announced, we were pumped, we were excited for it, and we played it day one. Same with World, same with Rise. But this go around, I'm kind of left alone, and it's sad. But the thing is, I kind of felt the same way going into Rise. I mean, we were all excited for it, but I could tell that I was sort of in the forefront of that, and I befriended new friends to play the franchise with, so I'm hoping that I might do the same with this upcoming game. And I'm also very confused as to what the multiplayer is going to be like in this new game, considering this game is going to have hunts that are sort of immersive and start midway through your like exploration. Like you can initiate a hunt after you've found the monster. It really seems like they're overhauling things, and they did that with World to a point that I completely disagree with. I think having the hub and the village quest separated is just annoying. I hated the cutscene thing that they implemented where you have to watch the cutscene before you can join them. It's just all too complicated. I found the multiplayer in Rise a lot more engaging just because it kind of went back to that old style, and that's just my take. So I'm both concerned that they might make this multiplayer a little convoluted. I mean, I trust them, but I didn't like the way that the multiplayer really worked in World. I like having a bunch of hub quests that we can just sort of throw ourselves at and not have to watch a stupid, boring cutscene in between each thing. And I'm hoping that the story in the new game is a little more engaging than in the one in World. And I've heard that the Iceborne story from the parts that I've not done, like with Fatalis and Elatrion, are not much better than the base World story. So, if not worse. Um, but this story looks to be a little more engaging, so who knows? Maybe they'll be really story heavy, and the multiplayer will be really convoluted, just like World, which is what I'm afraid of. And of course, I know you have investigations and event quests and lots of extra stuff where you don't have to watch the cutscenes. I'm aware of this, but for our initial playthrough of World, I remember it being really tedious to just get into the dang quest and play with my friends. And so I want to leave this as sort of a call to action to my very tight knit community that I have here. Uh, if y'all want to play with me, message me, comment on the channel. I have a link to the Discord server that I'm starting up for my channel. It's in the description on my YouTube channel, and I'll also include it in the description of this video. It's going to be in the descriptions of each video going forward. But if you are hyped for Wilds and you're going to be playing on PC even specifically, and you're excited and you want to play with me, you're looking for people to squad up with, hit me up because I'm looking for a new crew because largely I'm kind of looking at this new game with it may be time for Kai Jukebox to just be a solo hunter, and that kind of makes me a little bit sad. I do enjoy the solo side of Monster Hunter. I'd say I'm probably split 50-50 with the amount of time that I've spent both solo and multiplayer. But I want a squad. I want a crew of people to play with. I want to hang out and hunt some monsters and do some grinding together and help people with their quest and them help me with my quests. It's what I found so appealing in the game in the beginning. And I feel like I'm looking at becoming a solo hunter with Wilds. And who knows, maybe that'll be more immersive because this really looks like it's a journey into the unknown. But to tell you the truth, no matter what the multiplayer ends up being like, if it's convoluted, if it's cutscene heavy, if it's confusing, I'll sit through it. As long as I have a squad with me to hunt some dang monsters. I know this is a shorter one, but that's going to be all for today. Signing off.